This thing is crazy. So the eufyMake E1 UV printer, it is amazing. There are so many things you can make. It's incredible. So this video is a follow-up to my first video, which was a review of the machine, really showing so many different projects. In this video, I have a couple more projects, but I want to talk about a lot of the updates and a lot more of the questions that came out in that first video. So of course, you could always use those timestamps, but we got a lot of stuff here, so let's dig in to this amazing UV printer. So from the start, I do want to say that, myself, a couple dozen other folks did receive these machines as beta testers to kind of test out, but also just to showcase what it can do. This is not like some other companies that I work with where they do, check over everything and they're really, want to hold back in anything and only paint it in a good light. So I am going to show some failures, some things that I did find that didn't work out, but also some really, really exciting things. And so just take that into consideration. Yes, I did receive this machine in exchange for making videos, but it's not going to be biased. Although you're probably going to think it because I love this. This thing is insane. It's amazing. There is so much that you can do with it. But just going to throw that out there. So in my first video on this machine, it had the whole, unboxing, the setup, a lot more on the machine, but really showing all of these projects. Well, since the launch, they've come out with a lot of new updates. And one of the things, having worked with a lot of different desktop, maker machines, different companies, really when a company is responsive to the user base, that's what you're looking for. And so a lot of folks ask questions about, hey, what about this? What about the cost of ink? What about this? And they've been responsive and they already have a plan for a lot of that. So get excited. Like there's some really, really exciting things with it. A couple things that I want to jump into from the last video. So we have our different inks. Just pop them out like so. Hey, there, it's plugged in. You hear it. Really slick, really nice system. There are so many videos that have been released recently that get into the cost of the inks and all of that. So I'm not going to take the time to do that just because you can see it out there. Obviously, when we do those really thick prints like this one here, where we're building up the layers and we're doing all of that, it's going to take more ink. When we're doing lots of the white layer behind, it's going to build up. That's going to just cost more. So if I'm doing frames like this, if it's just flat with no texture, obviously it's going to be faster, and the cost for doing a big frame like this, a couple bucks, maybe $5 for the ink. Well, once I add in a texture effect, if I'm going to do some really deep, if I'm going to do some really elaborate ones with lots of layers, then we can get up into $10, $15 of ink to do, a panel like that. However, that is a premium, and really that's what makes this machine so amazing, is the texture detail prints. So if you're not familiar with it, I want to show you a couple more of those detail prints because it really is amazing. So here are just some texture samples of what this can do, right? It really is like 2.5D, 3D. It can go up to 5 millimeters. You can do brush strokes. You can do different textures. It will auto sense. So you can just put in any image and it will, AI add in some depth. They also did an update recently where you can customize it with depth maps. You can add in a little bit of texture or you can do a lot of texture. And so that is one of the coolest things about this. I just haven't seen this before. And it is that resin, right? So it's not going to get scratched off or removed, but so much texture. Obviously, there's a lot you could do with the files. Some files lend themselves better to it. But yeah, that's another one of those updates. You can really customize it with different depth maps. But the texture is so stinking cool. Again, you can get really deep, really, really thick, really, really cool effects. So some cool possibilities with that depth. There's something just so unique about the textured effect and feeling it. And again, this is a resin. So this is ink, but it's a resin that gets cured with the UV light. And so it's scratch resistant. It holds up, it's solid. The texture is so cool on a lot of pieces, especially if we're like getting into like challenge coins or some other things like that. That texture factor is really cool. But another thing that people were asking about with the ink, okay, the cost of one of these is around 40. It's in like the $40 range for each color. What if you are going to do volume? Now, the point of this machine, it is a desktop, right? This isn't a big giant one. This is for any home user. You could have in an office, could have in a spare bedroom, could have in a garage. And the idea with it is it's just you have an early entry point, right? So everyone can get into UV printing. You don't need all the systems. But if you want to have volume, if you want to do a lot, eufyMake did say that they are working on a bigger storage for ink to having more. So it's going to be a lot more cost effective if you are doing a lot. Like, let's say you really want to go all about these canvases or these wood or metal and do some textured effects and do a lot, well, that's going to take a lot more ink. So they are in the works right now of making a solution, a much more affordable system. They're still working on it. Another thing that came out, hopefully I don't knock everything down. So they talk about, knocked everything down. It's all good. It's all good. We talked about this right here. This is to trap those VOCs, right? So those fumes, there is, right, with the resin, with the ink, you are going to smell it a bit. Obviously, if you're just using the mini with it closed, you're not going to smell it as much because it's all in here. There are some folks who've even already made adapters for air purifiers. Well, eufyMake did say that they're trying they're really expediting their work on getting an air purifier. So that's coming. That's in the works as well, which is really exciting. All right, honest review here. Failures. So one thing I did experience is with some metals. Now, obviously, the textured, it's the same idea like from a woodworker if I'm trying to get glue to stick or other things. Sometimes I need to scuff up the surface. So if I have, a metal blank like this, I might need to sand it and scuff it up a bit. There's actually folks on the Facebook groups who've talked about in the UV printing industry how they'll add, a liquid, a solution ahead of time just to make things adhere a little bit better. Well, when I made this little metal, this was out of some steel. That I cut on another machine, but I wanted to kind of sand it up. And so even after the fact, I did kind of round over I used like a Dremel tool to get it. Well, the friction of that, it heated up the metal. And it heated up the metal so much that actually the resin, it popped right off. It slid off because it got really hot. I haven't experienced that with any other of the materials, but the metals, when that friction, when I was like really, really going to town and polishing the edges, making sure it wasn't too sharp, after the fact, then it didn't, this popped, it slid right off. Now I also experienced that with a wallet, right? So with a slimline wallet, I did it, and I want to test these things out. So in the last video, I talked about this one. I ran in the dishwasher for 13 days. Is it going to come off? Well, this particular one, it's pretty textured. So maybe when it adhered, anyway, it didn't come off in the dishwasher even with the heat, just because of that. If it was on like straight the metal, maybe it would have came off. As a general rule and practice, usually with tumblers like this, you want folks to hand wash them anyway, but I wanted to test out the dishwasher because someone's going to put it in there. But anyway, with this wallet, I carried it in my pocket for, I don't know, about 10-ish days, maybe 1 to 2 weeks. In my pocket, some really hot days, moving around, back and forth, keys in there, a bunch of other things back and forth. And yeah, with that, it did pop off like you can see right here. Unfortunately, I was hoping it would hold, but there was something in that. So I definitely want to explore in the future, adding those solutions ahead of time to see if that'll help it adhere, or like I mentioned, maybe scuffing up it a bit, maybe it adheres better. So I need to explore that more, but that's just my experience, and it could be user error. It could absolutely be user error. But one of the cool things, again, is as we're finding these things out with these early users, eufyMake is getting responsive. Like, all right, we're going to fix that. Oh, we'll come up with a solution for that. Oh, we'll add something. So they're really responsive, which is awesome, which is what, a customer, a consumer wants to hear. So that is the one experience I had with metals. If it comes in contact with heat or constant wear and tear like a wallet, that was my experience. However, something like this, super cool, right? Little tin on here, it's not coming off unless it got really hot, right? So take that into consideration, but I will definitely explore more of those solutions. If you are from the UV printing industry and you got some tips, some ideas, drop it in the comment down below. But that was one failure from my experience. So another thing that eufyMake has responded to is the ink. And so if I'm running, and especially if I'm doing a layered one, if it runs out of ink, originally how the software was set up, it froze and you couldn't get back to the piece. So I had one of these really big panels and I was running it and I ran out of the ink and so it just stopped the print, and so I wasn't able to. And if you look closely, you can see that I didn't quite line it up, but I wanted to salvage this, so I tried to do the print on top. It didn't quite line up. So that was originally, if you're doing a print and it ran out of like the white underlayer or the glossy, one of those, done, you're done. Well, that was silly. They they adjusted that, and so that's no longer an issue where it'll let you know, you can swap it out. So it's like those things, sure, beta users, early users, a couple little bugs, but I don't want to be, completely Pollyanna. Everything's perfect, no issues. Any new machine, there's going to be a couple little things. It's amazing, right? It's amazing. There's small little ones and they're working to fix it. This thing is just incredible. One other thing that's awesome and amazing is some AI tools in the software. So I want to jump in and show some of the updates they've made to the software. A lot of, whether it's 3D printers, CNC machines, lasers, the software can be daunting. This is truly one of the most intuitive softwares I've used, and some of the design elements are so cool to make some really cool stuff. So can explore this a little bit more. So let's check that out. So, want to jump into the software. Even if you're a pro, there are some incredible features. But more importantly, if you're not a pro, it's super intuitive. So just right here, they are constantly updating this with good improvements. So lots of different ideas. You can click on some preset things, but you also just have some really cool AI tools. You also have the option of, folks have uploaded their own projects and you can just kind of throw it into the software and you can customize it to how you want. So the software is really easy. I talk a little bit more about the software on the other video, so I'm not going to do a full tutorial here, but amazing. But I want to show you some really cool stuff. I played around with this new feature. It's their AI tools. Now there's other programs you can use for AI. Of course, they already have their templates here. But these are my sons. This is my oldest, and an AI face swap as a king. My youngest. All kinds of possibilities. Another one of my kid is like, I don't know, a knight. Looks kind of like a Narnian Prince Caspian. Look at this Van Gogh style. So this is my son and I at a Mariner game, and there's a filter to make it look like Van Gogh, and it did it, which was so cool. Recently, I just took my 5th grade students to Camp Orkyla on Orcas Island. This is a picture of the dock, and I made it Van Gogh style, or all of us here. It's like, that's crazy. That's so cool. So this is a really cool feature. Image AI. You can do a style shift where you throw in a picture. Look at all of these preset options for pets. I think there's a lot of money and sales to be made with pets. So, you get someone to, send a picture of their favorite pet or maybe people in an animal, and then you can make it, an AI style, and then you can put that, throw it on any blank. Great money there. There's some other filters for people, some famous artists, comic style, and then of course there's some landscape options. So this is the really cool one for those big pictures, big panels. So you got a cool picture and I want to make it a Monet style. Obviously, impressionist, that looks really cool with the textured and the brush effect. So that is a really cool thing. This face swap thing is the one that I just showed, where you just pick, for a kid, a different picture. You can see that was the one that I used. But look at all of these cool ones already here. Now, of course, there's other programs that exist, but this is all built in. You don't have to know how to use, Midjourney or other programs. And look at just so many cool, face swap possibilities. Let's see. Here's a couple other ones that I did, but really fun. So this is a fun one just to play around with for the AI feature, and of course we'll get into this a little bit more in future videos. I mean, this is just too cool and too funny. My kids got a kick out of it, and decorate a kid's bedroom. I think there's some really cool possibilities here. Dragon Rider. Who doesn't want, their face as a Dragon Rider? So this is a cool new thing. To definitely want to check that out. Some other things, image generator, some really cool features. So this is all within the free software that's super intuitive. It has the camera, great stuff. The software is easy. But when we're talking about design, in most of my videos, I'd like to talk about this one site, because when you're getting started and you want some different files, if you go to Etsy and you want to buy a cool file like this, oh, Mother's Day, I love, bruh, okay, I love it. Like this file right here is like $2 to $4 on Etsy. Well, this is a website, Creative Fabrica. I talk about in a lot of my videos, where it's a subscription. And so for the cost of one file, $4, you get unlimited downloads. Unlimited downloads. And so this is just fantastic, because obviously you could do it. There is a commercial license. You can sell these. But there are so many files here that would be so great. These would be so great. There's wraps, lots of really cool ones that would be great with a UV printer. No shortage, plenty. Also, you have the font feature, right? And so all of these really cool fonts in here. I use this, each month I download probably 50 different files, I mean, cool, right? How cool would that Daisy one be? So lots of different options in here, especially when you get to Christmas time, and you're looking for some ornament designs, ornament ideas. That's actually where I got quite a few of the ones that you saw in the video. Let's see. Anyway, you get the idea. So check this out. Link down below will give you 10 free files. So you can get 10 free files. And if you want to, different payment plans, options for more savings than that, but just so stinking cool. Tumbler wraps. You can do some AI. There is a studio option in here to do even more design as well. So anyway, definitely recommend checking it out. At least get those free files, but some cool, right? Some cool more AI options. So lends itself really well for UV. But check out that link down below to get started. So just about limitless possibilities. Obviously, you saw with all the design, options, but here are just some of the blanks and materials that I have printed on. So many more coming. Just gives you an idea of some of the things you can do, some of the styles. We'll get into some more tips, some more sales, all the different, considerations here at the end. But just wanted to give you a little bit closer look. Again, that other video has a little bit more tutorial, a little bit more on this, but just a quick little look before some final considerations. All right, there is so much more to explore with this machine. You can see I have, I don't know, 50 to 60 different unique items. I've purchased a ton more. I have a ton more items to do. Gonna do some batching, gonna make some jigs. I've already done some things where I cut it on the laser, and then I did it here, like with these ornament blanks. I've done 3D prints, with PLA, and then printed on here. There's a lot of potential there. There's gonna be a lot of content coming with this thing because it's just customizable so fast. It's so fast. My favorite thing is this rotary. It's just so easy to do it, and that auto tilt is incredible. Just like you really just get it in, you're up and running, amazing. So again, I didn't go over everything I did in that last video. That's got a little bit more robust, all the possibilities and materials. So check that out. Also the laminator, the DTF stickers, a lot more, but expect a lot more content coming. But I wanted to jump on as it's in this Kickstarter, mode right now, and people are wondering, should I not? They are responsive. It's amazing. Great experience. Insane results. Definitely check out the link. Check out the link down below to learn more about it. But how these things work. And some of you are wondering like, oh, how does the Kickstarter work? Is it going to... Dude, this has already got $20 million backed. So this thing is here. eufyMake, parent company is Anker, Anker. I've got about like 30 of their chargers all throughout my home. They are a big company and they're going to be able to deliver like crazy. So if you're on the fence about, this is like, you don't know the name Eufy, their parent company is Anker. And so they got it figured out. But anyway, best price is now. And so I highly recommend you jump on it, but at least look at it, check it out. It is my affiliate link. If you use that one down below, or if you use this link, it does help support our channel. So that's how we're able to make these videos. It's fun, it's super cool, and it's a blessing to be able to do all this, but all of that, we're prioritizing these machines because they're so amazing. But if you do use that affiliate link, it helps support my family, and I can make more videos like this, which I would love to do. So anyway, salesy, a little, yeah, a little. It's amazing. It's so cool. Okay. If this video provided value for you and you enjoyed what you saw, you want to see more, my style, there's a lot of reviewers out there. There's a lot of, YouTubers, influencers that they really go into all of the details and all of that and they test it, kind of an engineering. And I could try that, I could do that, but really, my wheelhouse is kind of being creative. I try and say that humbly. It's just like, oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do this. And so really it's look at how many things I was able to print, look at all the possibilities. And if you look at the other videos on my channel, yes, there are some where, my wheelhouse is a tutorial, whether it's woodwork or some things with laser. Obviously, I'm brand new to this. So in time, there's going to be a lot more tutorial videos for this. But right now, I'm just going to be making and printing everything I can, all the possibilities to give you ideas and some sales ideas and sales application. My gosh, they've got a lot of specs on their website on like how much you can make on these different things. Just magnets, right? And you could batch these out. And it's just so nice, customizable, especially the customizable family photos. A cell phone case or, get a family photo. My gosh. Okay. Well, again, consider subscribing to see more videos on this and other maker era, machines. And then, of course, some other cool projects and whatnot. All right. I did not cover everything. I didn't answer all the questions from that last video, and I hope to. What do you need to know more? What should I incorporate in future videos? What should I do for the next video? What would you really like me to focus on? Understanding that I like to make a lot of cool stuff, what is something that you'd like me to do a deeper dive into and have more print options for? Let me know. Let me know in the comments down below. Links to the blanks, links to that creative Fabrica for the cool designs, all that's down below. All right, this is a little bit longer, a little bit different. Don't worry, future videos, it's going to be more doing, but wanted to jump on and share some thoughts. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.